Our all stands in the athletic conference. The University of Memphis encourages and promotes good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. Reflects the collaboration of sports participants and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, racial or ethnic or other intimidating actions directed at officials, student athletes, coaches, or team representatives will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the side of competition. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please join us for a time of our national anthem.
To the American Athletic Conference Men's Soccer Tournament here from tropical Orlando on the beautiful campus of UCF. We have reached the semifinals, and we begin today with last year's champs, the SMU Mustangs, and the 6th seed, the Memphis Tigers. Let's take a look at the brackets. Memphis advancing against SMU coming up. UConn, UCF, highly anticipated matchup to follow this one. What a night it should be. Hello, everybody. Ari Shannock, Matt Stubbington. And Matt, Memphis pulled the upset of the tournament thus far with the win over USF. Can they continue it against SMU?
Well, if they show any of the resiliency that they did on Tuesday night, they certainly have a good chance of pulling the upset again today against SMU. Memphis, they played a really good game on Tuesday, but they have to make sure that they stay compact defensively this afternoon and make the most of the set pieces. The last time these two teams met, there were 20 set pieces that Memphis did not capitalize on. That's something that Coach Mulrooney will hope happens today.
And the keys for SMU, who was last year's tournament champs, here they are.
Well, in the game of soccer, you need to create width to stretch out the opposition's defense. Able to do that, you'll get some goal-scoring opportunities. But also, Coach Hudson wants his team to manage transition, both defensively and offensively, to put the Memphis Tigers under some pressure.
Our key players tonight for Memphis. He was the player of the game on Tuesday, just a freshman, Gurman Senga.
Played a wonderful game on Tuesday with the 1 goal, the 1 assist in the quarterfinal. Coach Mulrooney says he's had the energy all year long, but hasn't found that final product when it's been needed. And there's the energy on the goal that he scored, all about want to and desire, getting into the box, getting the fortuitous bounce off the post, and that was the icing on the cake in the victory.
And for SMU, he was last year's tournament most outstanding player, Emil Quaisho.
Opposition defenses have as much trouble with him as I will have with his name. He's a wonderful player. 5 goals, 7 assists on the season. Coach Hudson says he's an elite talent that has matured over the course of his career. He's always had the tools, always had the technical ability, but he hasn't known what to do with it. But as a senior, he's now starting to figure it out and is playing both sides of the ball, creates the opportunities for his teammates, and is a real mature player and developing into a really good soccer player.
And what a night of soccer ahead of us. Coming up, the opening kickoff in the conference tournament semifinals.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones, not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
I was the last person anybody's thinking is going to be in college athletics. One thing I really valued about my SMU experience was being in engineering school. I was taught how to think. In 2012, my wife and I decided to start our foundation. Basically, the goal is to let kids be kids while they're in the hospital, but also be able to return to being a kid when they're done. A huge part of my quality of life is the experiences that I've had, and that was all provided by SMU. I'm Thomas Morstead. Game changers are shaped here.
And there are the two teams getting ready to battle here in this match at the UCF Soccer and Track Stadium. There's the Mustangs. We're going to send it down field to Haley.
SMU head coach Kevin Hudson telling me before this game that his team plans to use that first round bye to their advantage. They have fresh legs, switch the point of attack, and make the Memphis Tigers run to hopefully wear them out. But on the Memphis side, Richard Mulrooney telling me that the fitness will not be an excuse today. This is what his team has trained for, the fitness test all season long, so they are ready for this moment here in the conference tournament.
Thank you so much, Haley. Haley Otten, third member of our broadcast team. There's a good look at Coach Hudson, who has 3 regular season titles in his tenure at SMU, 2015-2017, coaching staff of the year under Coach Hudson, leading the Mustangs for 9-4-2 overall.
And Coach Hudson did a really good job coming in and making an immediate impact, keeping the program going and developing the team. And you see just the success that the team has had year on year. Wonderful coach, greatly understands the game. Talking to him before the match, and I said, so where are you looking to get the ball played into? So areas of numerical advantage, I'll let you figure that one out. So I've had my own challenge from Coach Hudson.
And there on the other side is head coach Richard Mulrooney in his 5th season. Former MLS and men's national team player, Memphis native, member of 3 MLS Cup winning teams, 3-time MLS All-Star. And he made 14 appearances back in 2002 in the U.S. men's national team Gold Cup win.
Experience as a player, and has moved onto the coaching ranks and bringing that experience to bear on the sideline.
And we are about ready for kickoff. Memphis 8-6-4 overall, 2-4-1 in conference, but they have been tough on the road. 3 wins on the road, 3-1 on a neutral field. So that is 6 victories away from home. SMU 5-1-1 in conference. They are 3-1-1 away from home. 7 members of this SMU team selected to the all-conference teams. And the Mustangs second in the conference in shots per game with 16. That is 9th in the nation. They're also first in the conference in corner kicks per game at 6. That is 20th in the nation.
You're earning your corner kicks. Generally, it means that you're getting around behind your opposition. You got to make the most of those chances, though, when they present themselves to you. You've got to do something with the set pieces that you earn.
Memphis Tigers in their first conference tournament appearance since the 2015 tournament, and they picked up their first victory in tournament play in program history in American Athletic Conference tournament play with that 3-1 upset victory over the 3rd-seeded USF Bulls. SMU winners of last year's American tournament. Underway here. SMU in their road black uniforms. Long ball played and headed away because lurking was Shackelford, who has 5 goals this season.
And Roberts did well with that. That ball skipped off the surface. Phil got a little bit of a sprinkling from the irrigation system, which is normal in the game of soccer, but that ball really did skip.
Coming out to punch that away, Lackland. McLaughlin was right there on the edge of the 18, challenging.
I saw it time and time again on Tuesday. Lackland's got great range and understanding of the position. And again, the goalkeeper comes out big, playing beyond his years. He's no longer a freshman because it's at the end of the season, but even so, he's got a very experienced head on his shoulders.
The keeper from Richardson, Texas, comes out and seizes that one in the air on the long throw. And Parker, a career night on Tuesday. The sophomore getting his 9th start of the season. And he had a career-high 7 saves against the Bulls. A couple of enormous ones, Matt, late in that match when it was tied 1-1.
And in 2 halves, in the 2 halves as well, he came up big when he had to, making the saves, keeping his team in it. And that's what you want as a coach, is your goalkeeper to make the big saves when they have to. And that's exactly what Lackland did on Tuesday night. And if he hadn't made those saves, it would have been a complete shift in momentum, and we'd be watching USF play this afternoon instead of the Tigers.
Yeah, absolutely. That one on Skublock when it was tied 1-1 really changed the momentum, ignited his team, and the Tigers went on to that 3-1 victory. Well, will the other keeper be tested? He will get his first touch. Does Grant Makala, the 6'4" junior from Destin, Florida. So he's used to this kind of humidity. 2nd team all-conference. 13 starts, 10 goals against, 43 saves. Save percentage of 81%. And he is 29th in the nation with his 6 shutouts. Senga trying to get the cross off. It is denied there by Warrington. But the first corner of the match upcoming here for Memphis. And it will be Gurman Senga. Now let's see, they'll switch it now. It's typically Zolzman. David, who scored his 4th goal of the season Tuesday night. In swinger, far post in the air. And we will go to the other side and have our 2nd corner of the game.
Really good defensive header from Haney. His positioning at the back post meant that he had to put that ball out to the far sideline. Keep the ball on its trajectory. See as the ball comes in. There's the header from Haney. He's under pressure. Just keeps the ball going on its journey. If he's near the near post, he'll be coming back towards us.
That one low out front. Headed out to the edge and then high in the sky. We have a player down and a whistle. Looks like a foul will go against Memphis. Holding his head there for the Mustangs. Is that Shackelford?
Might be.
You see Haney talking with the official as the athletic trainer trots out to attend to Shackelford.
Mr. Allerton, the referee tonight.
Well, SMU became the 25th program in NCAA history to reach 600 victories. That came this season, October 20th, with a 3-1 victory over Cincinnati. And good to see Shackelford up. Got a contusion below the left eye. He's an important piece, to say the least, the junior, with 5 goals this season. Second team all-conference.
It's like as Roberts was going up for the ball, he just draped his arm over the top of Shackelford and perhaps the elbow making contact with the chin, or the cheek, I should say. There's some blood on his cheek, so he'll have to come out of the match at the moment.
So DJ Williams will come onto the pitch in relief of the injured Shackelford. DJ, 5'9" junior out of Fort Worth, 2 goals and an assist on the season.
Another good defensive play from Haney. This time on the slide tackle, gives up the throw in. Roberts trotting forwards from his central defensive position. This will probably be a long one into the box, challenge the back line of SMU.
He goes out to the edge, served up and collected rather easily by Makala.
Huerta there with the ball played into the box. Nice imagination, just overdid it on the attempt at the chipped pass. Ball seemed to sit up nicely though. Huerta might have had a crack with that one.
Warrington had it kicked away there by Huerta. There's a good look at Bryant. Houston, Texas product, a sophomore. Oh, good chest pass. Williams unable to get there in time, cut off. That pass a little bit behind Quayshow. Emil. 5 goals, 6 assists. 6 assists. Second in the conference overall. We talked about him as a key, obviously, for the Mustangs. First team all-conference player. And the most outstanding player of this tournament last season, when SMU took it all.
Coach Hudson was very complimentary about Quayshaw and the way he's matured as a player. Said arguably he's one of the most technically gifted players in the conference. Probably has what it takes to make it at the next level, but has always had the physical tools, but now he's put it together with the mental understanding of how to play the game.
On the attack, blocked out of there. Good defensive play again by the Mustangs. Long ball as they search for McLaughlin. McLaughlin, physical, trying to capture. Garrett McLaughlin, 3 goals, 2 assists. Second team all-conference. McLaughlin, preseason Mac Herman Trophy watch list for the junior from Oklahoma City. He is the 2016 American Athletic Conference Rookie of the Year. Keep an eye on Garrett.
Has good movement up top as that ball is trying to be played forwards from the back line. He's bending his run, challenging the defender Roberts to keep track of where the number 7 was going. And cleverly almost won the throw in moments before with a clever back heel off of Biazzi.
Well, Coach Paul Rooney was so enthusiastic about his team's play on Tuesday. Biazzi switches sides. Tigers with space here. Looking for that seam. And booted out of there.
So Mikas was offside as the ball was nodded forwards. A couple of offsides already against the Tigers.
Chris Mikas found the game winner on Tuesday. His 3rd game-winning goal of the season, 5th overall.
It was a wonderful touch from him. Collected the ball beautifully with his right foot, and then a couple of steps, puts the ball in on net with just enough power to beat the goalkeeper.
Makela to about midfield. Biazzi now being challenged. Physical play as he matched up against the star Emil Cuecho.
Well, this is a moment lost. Good defensive effort from Cuecho by no mistake. And he takes away the switch of that Memphis might have been looking for, but there was Sanger down the right flank. Could have been played into space, but Biazzi just delayed his run, or his decision to pass it. And in the end gets caught in possession cheaply.
Tigers pressuring. Maples. Ponder trying to move forward. SMU organizing. And back to Makela. Tiger throw in. Is this the kind of start that they're hoping for Memphis through the first 10? Matt?
I think they've got to be pretty happy. They've had some chances going forwards. They've limited the opportunities for SMU. And as a team, they're staying pretty compact. I mean, you saw that whole sequence leading up to the throw, and SMU had nowhere to go with the ball. Memphis were far enough back so the ball over the top was not a threat. As Mr. Allerton has a word with a couple of players, sort things out.
Morse and Allander were wrestling. There's a little takedown by Morse. Maples to the near side. And a throw in for Memphis. And quickly, Biazzi. Very physical here over the past couple of minutes. Getting up slowly is Canute. Allender, all rookie team player. Ooh. Took the kick. I don't think we want to show that one again. So Biazzi with a free kick here. Biazzi. Far side, the Tigers.
Just thinking it's probably one that will make the highlight reel at the end of season banquet for SMU. Much to Allander's discomfort and the joy of his teammates.
He stayed in the game too, Allender. Oh, here's one tough cookie. Warrington now to give way to Talon Maples, all-rookie team player.
Clever run.
Lackland there.
Made by Williams. Roberts was beaten by the ball played in. Lackland sparing the defender's blushes.
Warrington looked for help.
SMU is just not connecting on the passes as you'd expect from the Mustangs. That one from Haney. Not sure whether he's trying to find McLaughlin or Manjoma. Either way, it went between the two players and easily a takeaway for the Memphis Tigers.
Tigers building. Biazzi into the corner. Senga unable to connect. SMU's won 4 straight. They have a 6-match unbeaten streak. The two teams met back on the 12th of October. It was all SMU in that one, 3-0. Coach Hudson's team winning that one, and they are 13-3 all time against the Tigers.
I was talking to Coach Mulrooney. He said that that was a game that.
Senga, his cross. Out of the air, booted well over the goal.
Crosses have to be better from Memphis tonight. You work so hard to get down the flanks. You've got to deliver the ball where it needs to be put. Sanger on that occasion to the back post. Players were there, but it was a tough one to finish.
Let's send it down to Haley, right back of the bench.
We see it here early. Memphis kind of controlling the possession of this game. And when I talked to SMU head coach Kevin Hudson before this game, you know, in scouting Memphis, he has a lot of respect for this team. Memphis head coach Richard Mulrooney has really changed the profile of this program. And he said this is not the old Memphis anymore. They're a really athletic group. And a player that he had circled on his scouting report was Memphis midfielder David Zalzman. He said he actually voted for him to be the midfielder of the year in this conference, a player that should go pro after this season. So trying to contain David is a big focus today.
Thank you, Haley. David, the Venezuelan. Zalzman put in the penalty kick in the first half of that game Tuesday night to tie it against the Bulls. First team all conference.
So many options now for these players to make it to the next level. They don't have to all just look to the MLS.
Warrington, strong heave in there. Out of the air, didn't get it all. He had a piece of that, so easy play for Lackland.
I think Williams was trying to take it over to his right side for the shot, but the control just got away from him. So, talking to Coach Mulrooney before the game, he said, looking back at the game that they played against SMU in Memphis, the loss of 3-0, he said they were really disappointed and almost embarrassed by that performance. But he watched video of the game last night and said it was a favorable revisit to that game because even though Memphis didn't play their best, he felt that they still had their opportunities, still created chances, which is a positive from a coaching standpoint. So if he feels that if they can just keep competing with SMU this afternoon, play to the level and the energy of the Mustangs, he feels that the Tigers have a really good shot.
Well, through the first 16 minutes, it has been level. Or if anything, the edge would go to the Tigers.
Certainly they've been more consistent in connecting the passes.
They have had a couple corner kicks. So far, no corners yet for SMU, and that, as I pointed out before, one of their strengths. They average 6 per game. They have out corner kicked their opponent 83-53 on the season. Warrington pulled, but not off of the ball. Good passing for the Mustangs. Able to keep possession, but they really have not been able to penetrate into their attacking third more than that one time.
Simon Joma is open on that far sideline, but just has not been utilized. That ball was played into space beyond him. The pass would have been, the correct pass would have been to feet. Choices just have to be better at this moment from SMU. And you see both teams transitioning from offense to defense very quickly, getting players behind the ball, making space very difficult to find. That's a delicious ball played across though.
Beautifully done by Ben Roberts, first team all-conference player. Over the top, Roberts. Great action here. Sanga, a talented freshman. Hesitation move, shifting gears, and the cross headed up far side. Still in the penalty area. The blast and a score. The Tigers take the lead. Let the celebration begin on the first goal. I believe that was Irides. Yep. Alexandros Irides, his third goal of the season. Let's get a look.
Sanga creating the width. The header comes out to Irides, and then Haney unlucky with the deflection. Sanga involved in the build-up yet again, starting up this game as he left off on Tuesday. And sometimes you just got to put it in the mix-up. And Irides coming back to the ball does exactly that. Turns quickly, takes the shot with the right peg. And Haney, unfortunate with the deflection. And there's nothing really the goalkeeper, McCullough, can do about that one.
Nope. Redirected off of the leg of Haney. Irides, who play for the quick counter opportunity here. Do they have a quick answer, the Mustangs? Shifting gears to his right, and that will send a teammate way into the corner. Able to keep it in. Great hustle there by Haney. Excuse me, Warrington.
Oh, the flag goes up. I thought Warrington had kept that ball in. Shackelford's back in the action. He's got a big old band-aid on his left cheek.
Well, that'll help the attack for SMU.
On defense of the assistant on this near sideline. Coach Hudson's not jumping up and down in frustration that the throw was given to Memphis. So I have to say, from the angle right on the sideline, that ball did go out of bounds, as that one did. It would be a throw in to SMU.
Coach Hudson trying to get his potent offense started here. They trail 1-0, 20 minutes in.
Another long throw in.
Warrington out of Lawton, Oklahoma. We saw a powerful throw in, and there's another one, a little side spin on it, headed up and headed out to the side. McLaughlin in swinger. Kept in the 18. And off the side of the Tiger defender's foot and into the stands.
Roberts with the old Gary Owen clearance. The old up and under. Memphis Tiger player down on his haunches. Slow to get to his feet. Not sure who that is.
They'll give Warrington another opportunity for a throw in. Man, what an arm. And just underneath that one, sailing over everybody off of the left foot of Caleb Smith. Caleb, another talented player, a senior out of Arlington, part of the under-20 U.S. national team. He was ranked the 12th overall player coming out of high school by Top Drawer Soccer. (1-0) Memphis on the Irides score. Irides Cyprus team under 19 and under 17 national team player. Beautiful long ball. Tigers building again. Into the box, headed away.
Wonderful balance on the ball from Quayshaw there.
Having to hold up there was Shackelford. Shackelford full sprint, forcing Lackland to rush, and he boots it out of bounds. Well, he went into high gear with his terrific speed.
I'd like to see Biazzi, the right fullback, drop deeper, create some angle, maybe allow the goalkeeper to find that position to feet. Shackelford, though, with his great closing speed, forces the ball out of bounds for the throw-in. Memphis have to be careful of, though, is sitting back too far defensively, inviting pressure.
SMU co-regular season champs. Now Maples sent to the deck a couple times with his arms in the air. First team all-conference defender. And it'll be Ponder putting it in play. Great feet on the perimeter. The cross denied.
Oh, if you got speed like that, why don't you find him a little bit more often? Brilliant, really good work there from Munjoma. It's the first time he's received the ball to feet today.
Yeah, Eddie, couple goals, 4 assists. Foul called there.
The difference as well is if you can pass that ball to the forward foot, which is the foot closest to the opposition's goal, just gives the player so many more options. That was the pass that Munjoma received. He was able to then turn it upfield in a heartbeat.
Cross, out swinger, and nearly found the head. Biazzi turning on the Jets. Good attempt there by Maples to break it up. You see a good look at Micus.
A shout of frustration there.
Edgar Alaniz checking in. Excuse me, Matt.
Morse there at the back post as that ball came in from the left flank. Shouted in frustration, knowing that he should have been at the back post for the header. And then in the end, it was a good recovery from Maples to put it out for the throw-in.
Alaniz replacing Senga. Alaniz was able to spark this Memphis team on Tuesday when he entered around this time period of the half. Shackelford all taped up below the left eye, a hit he took in the early moments of this one.
Tuesday, winning the penalty kick. Alaniz was so cheeky in the way he played the ball around the defender and then went the long way around to get on the end of his own pass to himself. I'm sure USF would argue that the penalty was awarded a little too easily, but from the referee's vantage point, you can certainly understand why the PK was given. And it was a great moment in the match just before halftime, allowing the Tigers to go into the locker room on a shot of adrenaline.
And the PK put in by Zalzman.
You see what the Tigers are trying to do. They're trying to make the most of those long diagonal balls. That one didn't quite come off because it was down the middle of the pitch, allowing the goalkeeper to come out and claim it. Try and play those long diagonals, open up SMU with those types of balls and create width with that long searching ball rather than playing through the middle of the pitch.
Roberts. But Shackelford gives SMU relentless energy and physicality. Warrington will head that away and out of bounds.
And the other thing with those long balls is it makes the opposition either clear the ball out of bounds, but it gives you an opportunity to try and win the second ball.
Alanis keeps it in play. Huerta. Nice pass by Biazzi. There's a strike headed away and blocked off of the dangerous left foot of Zalzman. Memphis continues to attack and pressure the talented Mustang team. Alanis, quick move to his right, draws the foul.
So simple the way Alanis plays, just squares up the defender. And all it is simple. Change my pace, change my direction. Outside of the foot, little shimmy, little shake. See ya. Warrington says, hang on a moment, let me tug you down because I'm not ready to say goodbye just yet.
Nice opportunity created right here. Alanis runs by it and then booted in. Biazzi chases it down. We played nearly 30 minutes in this one. SMU trying to return to the finals. Tigers trying to win their second match in tournament play history. Great passing here. Can he turn to get a shot off? A trip, no call. Alanis has it. There's a shot. Oh, straight on, getting underneath it. A glorious opportunity there for the Tigers and Micus, who's an excellent goal scorer.
Just moving away from the goal a little bit was Micus. Lovely build-up, interchanging of passes. That wasn't a penalty. Alanis then picks out the pass. Maybe bounced a little bit on Micus as it came towards him, but he knows he should have done better.
So Micus will rest. Leading goal scorer for this team with 5.
Just seemed to snatch his shot a little bit. Easy for us to say up here when you have replay in time, but maybe just use the side of the foot would have been a better opportunity for Micus on that one. You can see the power with which he put it over the goal.
Alanis lofted that one in, but it was able to be captured by Makela.
Good rotation of players for Memphis Tigers defensively. Huerta had come back defensively into the right back position as Biazzi had gone forwards.
Ooh, opening here for the Tigers. The strike, and just right. Good build up And blast there for SMU as Quayshaw was hoping for his 6th of the season. Terrific play by Munchoma to set this up.
Well, as a defender, if you're going to ground, you better make sure you win the ball. Biazi gambled and lost out completely. His blushes are spared as Quayshaw just put that one past the right hand upright. That was by far the best opportunity for the Mustangs in this first half. Munchoma, who for my money has not been involved nearly enough for SMU in the first 30 minutes of this game, was involved in that build-up. He's been the most exciting player down that right flank.
Anytime he touches, something good happens for SMU. He has 4 assists on the season, almost had number 5. Shackelford botting up.
A couple of strange errors in the back line for Memphis. Managed to get away with it, though.
Here come the Tigers on the counter. The shot is wide right as it rolls across the goal crease and out of bounds. Nice attack there for Memphis. McNatt. It's
one of those slow dribblers that you hate as a goalkeeper. It seems to take an age to get to you, an age to go across the face of you. Because of your positioning, you aren't in the position to make the stop, and you hope that there's nobody at the back post to put it in. And that occasion, there wasn't.
Quayshaw deflects off of Morse into the match for SMU. Noah Hilt. Centennial, Colorado. As he replaced Canute Hollander.
Got a long throw coming. Warrington with the long trot to the far sideline.
See if he can get it in the 18 from this angle. Probably can with his strength. Look at that power. In the air, headed down. And Memphis able to clear.
The long throwing is so dangerous because it comes in at a different angle, and generally it's more accurate than a ball played with the foot. So difficult to defend. You hate dealing with it as a coach, you hate dealing with it as a player, but it's a wonderful weapon for any team that possesses a player that can throw it in like Warrington. Not only is it an offensive weapon, it can be a defensive weapon as well, because he can throw it from basically level with his own penalty area across the halfway line.
Yeah, what a weapon that is. Munchoma turning on the Jets. Whistle. A good laugh at that one is Morse, junior from Plano, Texas.
Just looking across the far sideline. DeLuca having a chat with the player right in front of him. I think that's Arides, how they were going to deal with Munchoma defensively on that last attack by the number 12. Was dealt with nicely by the 2 outside players for Memphis. Good double team. Arides with enough pressure, enough attention to force the missed touch from the outside back, and it was an easy picking from DeLuca to pick the pocket in the end.
Haney Directs it downfield. Little one hop into Leckland's hands.
Shackelford asking for the ball to feet. He understands that there's no space for him to run into. The ball has to be played into feet. Allow SMU to build, get players up in support.
Biazzi all the way down. Alaniz. His cross blocked. SMU with such terrific weapons in their arsenal up front with Shackelford and Quayshow, Munjoma. Well, Memphis has done a solid job keeping them in check.
Biazzi, a couple of his forwards have taken away some opportunities, either by holding the ball too long and not releasing the pass. On that occasion, he releases the pass exactly where he needs to. Alaniz is there to receive it. Then Biazzi didn't curtail his run. He goes straight on into the space that Alaniz was then going to try and exploit.
Shackelford penetrating into the 18, shot and wide left. It was deflected. Was there a flag up for offsides? As that was booted in for SMU with Priest. Let's see what happened here.
Plays it to Shackelford. Shackelford coming in. Priest again. Talk about where players need to be as far as the runs are concerned. Priest going straight up the pitch, ends up getting in Shackelford's way. Certainly it was an opportunity for Priest that he'll want back. You've got to understand where you need to be in the support there. Priest needs to get a little bit wider as Shackelford get out of the way and allow number 2 to have the chance at the shot.
Shackelford with 5 goals. Wyatt Priest has yet to score this season. But another stellar play by the young keeper, Lackland. Looked like he got a piece of that ball with his foot. Matt making the save.
Well, he wasn't credited for it because it didn't go out for a corner kick, but either way, he got out quickly, closes the angle down. He did that against USF twice, making those big saves that kept the score at 1-1, allowing the Tigers to go ahead and get the game winner.
It was dangerous there, but well contained by Maples. Six and a half minutes remain in the half.
A little bit of frustration for the Mustangs, Ari.
Yeah. Nothing coming easy for them. Hernandez. Priest.
Again, Shackelford was there to receive the ball to feet. Pass is not made. In the end, it allows Memphis the time to get back defensively. So they can play the ball into Shackelford's feet. He can hold the ball up just long enough to then allow the midfield for SMU to join him in the attack. But at the moment, it's pretty easy picking as far as the 2 central defenders for Memphis are concerned, Roberts and Thomas.
There's a strike and almost into the parking lot on the far side of the stadium. Another good attack and build up from the Tigers.
Well, normally I'd say the ball kids wouldn't thank you, but I think they're UCF students that are helping out with that task. And they certainly won't thank the inaccurate shot as that went all the way across the track.
What do you have for us, Haley?
USF and SMU, 2 teams that Memphis lost to in the regular season, and that has certainly played into some of the motivation coming into this tournament. When I asked Coach Mel Rooney before the game the mentality of his team, especially when they were down a goal like they were in that first round, he said this is where the lessons of the regular season have come into play. Either you put your head down or you can come back. And Tuesday, there was more than enough time to come back, and they did just that. But that can also have the reverse effect, too, when you're up a goal. So the question, rather, today is how can they mentally play with a lead? And we'll certainly find out here in the second half.
All right, thank you, Haley. Alaniz, and there's a shot right in, but grounded into the lap. Good angle there by Makela. Alaniz again creating that opportunity. Shot put in by one of his teammates.
That's McNatt at the near post, trying to pull the ball away from the goalkeeper. And it was a good save.
The blast
at the near post and then at the far end.
Munjoma again going left foot near the near post.
Again, such a talented player going forwards. There's the ball played in. Alaniz squaring up the defender, freezing him. McNatt continues his run. Arides was there. If Makela doesn't make the save, gambling at the near post, and in the end, good technique from the keeper. McNatt can just pull that ball back towards the penalty spot. We'd be looking at a 2-0 lead right now.
Yeah, and 2 goals for Arides. He hit the first one, which is where we stand here. Nearing just 3 minutes left to play in the first half. And Memphis, can they make news and pull their second upset of the tournament and qualify for the title game? SMU with 7 players. The conference, all conference teams throughout, first, second, and rookie team. They're averaging 1.64 goals per game. And that ball, one hopped to Lackland. That sideline feeling good. Shackelford will make him pick it up. Well, it was Quayshaw with 2 goals in the first meeting against the Tigers. Shackelford had 1. It was a 3-0 victory for SMU earlier in the year, touching on what Haley talked about. They had lost to USF. That ball ricocheted dangerously coming off his line to dive on it. Makela. Well, what Haley talked about, that revenge factor, Matt. Yeah, they lose to USF 2-0, the final game of the regular season. They come back and beat them. Lost at home 3-0 to this SMU team. Unjoma receives a beautiful pass from Shackelford. Cross, Shackelford out of the air, and we are tied. Gorgeous goal from Shackelford. His 6th of the season.
SMU goal.
Well, he started the move and he finished the move. As the ball's coming back across the goal from Unjama, I thought that Shackelford was going to put this in the hard way with a sideways volley. Unjama plays the ball out wide. Hilt with the cross. Unjama has been involved in everything exciting going forwards. And Shackelford just lays out. It wasn't the most spectacular volley, but it was an important volley. It bounces underneath the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. What a moment to score.
Shackelford, such a tremendous athlete, his beautiful balance. And what a time for Noah Hilt to pick up his first assist of the season. Played in perfectly by the sophomore. We are tied at 1. Just over a minute to play first half. Well, that will certainly lift the spirits of the Mustang fans here in attendance, and there's quite a few of them. Here comes SMU again. Shackelford able to seal that pass through the legs. Maples, excuse me, Nicky Hernandez.
I just like the reaction of Shackelford. He points at the ball, points at Munjama and says, look, that's where I wanted you. Where were you? You're supposed to be there.
Stubbington said you need more touches over there on the right side. That's where you're supposed to be.
Give me a break. I've been up and down the flank pretty good this first 45 minutes.
That ball cleared away, and that may end the first half. Watch out, Shackelford. His speed you cannot underestimate. Shackelford, a little bump of Lackland, and he checks on Parker to make sure he's okay. So a late goal in the first half by that man right there. Kean Shackelford ties it. He was hit early. He's got the bandage and below the left eye, but that couldn't keep Kean out of this match and making an impact. And Haley downfield.
Coach, your freshman, Kean Shackelford, able to get that goal heading into the locker room. How does that completely shift the momentum of this game heading into half?
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty poor. One of the worst halves we've played all year. You know, flat, lethargic. The work rate wasn't right, but Kean bails us out, and you know, now we're 1-1 at half. So we are fortunate to be in this situation right now.
With Memphis pressing the way that they are, what will be the key to dictating more of the play in the second half?
Yeah, we got to keep the ball, and we got to have more guys that want the ball and show up in certain spots. And you know, we have to find the ball to our wing backs, and you know, basically we have guys that are hiding behind defenders and not working hard enough to find it. So we'll make a few tweaks, but you know, I think we'll make some adjustments and figure it out in the second half.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Haley. Coach Hudson, Matt, not holding back his opinion of his team's play. We'll talk about that more when we get back. We are tied at 1 here in semifinal number 1 from UCF.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones, not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
I was the last person anybody's thinking is going to be in college athletics. One thing I really valued about my SMU experience was being in engineering school. I was taught how to think. In 2012, my wife and I decided to start our foundation. Basically, the goal is to let kids be kids while they're in the hospital, but also be able to return to being a kid when they're done. A huge part of my quality of life is the experiences that I've had, and that was all provided by SMU. I'm Thomas Morstead. Game changers are shaped here.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle, a big save, a clutch hit,
or a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
There is power in the sportsmanship that is displayed across the American.
Power is respecting opponents,
officials,
student athletes,
coaches, and team representatives.
Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions while at the game.
The American.
Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is the means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help. We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health
and promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Bernie scores! 3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Cueto from 30!
Unbelievable.
And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power Six conference known as the American, powered by determination. In just 5 seasons, storied programs have united as a Power Six conference. We've watched record breakers, All-Americans, and victories that proved we are not only equal to the best, but often better. Can you imagine what's ahead for this Power Six conference? We can, because the best way to predict the future is to create the future. The American, powered by determination.
And a late goal by Shackelford, and the 2-seed SMU locks this one up at 1 at the half at the American Athletic Conference Tournament Semifinals from the UCF Soccer and Track Stadium.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle, a big save, a clutch hit,
or a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
There is power in the sportsmanship that is displayed across the American.
Power is respecting opponents,
officials,
student athletes,
coaches, and team representatives. Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
profanities, or other improper actions while at the game.
The American.
Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
The American. Power for life.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help. We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with one drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health
and promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Bernie scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year.
Cueto from 30!
Unbelievable.
And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power Six conference known as the American, powered by determination. In just 5 seasons, storied programs have united as a Power Six conference. We've watched record breakers, All-Americans, and victories that proved we are not only equal to the best, but often better. Can you imagine what's ahead for this Power Six conference? We can, because the best way to predict the future is to create the future. The American, powered by determination.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones, not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
I was the last person anybody's thinking is going to be in college athletics. One thing I really valued about my SMU experience was being in engineering school. I was taught how to think. In 2012, my wife and I decided to start our foundation. Basically, the goal is to let kids be kids while they're in the hospital, but also be able to return to being a kid when they're done. A huge part of my quality of life is the experiences that I've had, and that was all provided by SMU. I'm Thomas Morstead. Game changers are shaped here.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on the American Digital Network. We've got another good one, the third match that we've had in this tournament. All three, Matt, have been tied at 1 at the end of one half.
That just tells you how good this conference is and how competitive the conference is, and a large part of that is because the players are completely committed to the game and they play a physical brand of soccer, and both squads are up to that. They also like to go on the attack. McNatt there will want that one back. It wasn't his best effort on net. This one, though, from Quayshaw was a better effort, just drifting wide of the upright. And then Sanger gets forwards on the attack. The header deflects the ball out of the way of Arides, but he goes back and collects it and swings the right leg and gets the fortuitous bounce off the defender. But it goes into the back of the net for the 1-0 advantage at that point. Munjoma has been involved in everything that has gone forwards for SMU. He's involved in that build-up, gets the ball out to Noah Hilt, and then Shackelford with the layout puts that ball beyond the goalkeeper, actually underneath the goalkeeper for the finish. Thought he might have gone with the header, but in the end he goes for the sideways volley. And either way, it works. It's into the back of the net, and we're knotted at 1 at halftime.
Yeah, Lackland went up, Shackelford went below him, and that's where we stand, tied at 1.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power 6 conference known as the American, powered by determination. In just 5 seasons, storied programs have united as a Power 6 conference. We've watched record breakers, All-Americans, and victories that proved we are not only equal to the best, but often better. Can you imagine what's ahead for this Power 6 conference? We can, because the best way to predict the future is to create the future. The American, powered by determination.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones, not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
I was the last person anybody's thinking is going to be in college athletics. One thing I really valued about my SMU experience was being in engineering school. I was taught how to think. In 2012, my wife and I decided to start our foundation. Basically, the goal is to let kids be kids while they're in the hospital, but also be able to return to being a kid when they're done. A huge part of my quality of life is the experiences that I've had, and that was all provided by SMU. I'm Thomas Morstead. Game changers are shaped here.
It's a beautiful evening here in Orlando. The American Athletic Conference Men's Tournament Soccer Semifinals now, as we are tied at 1. This season's regular season champion, the SMU Mustangs. They won the tournament last year, went on to advance all the way to the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament. That was its 31st appearance for the SMU Mustangs in the NCAA tournament last season. They fell to North Carolina in the Sweet 16. We'll see what kind of run the Mustangs make this season, Matt, but they will have to play better in the second half. Coach Hudson very disappointed in his team's performance in the first half.
And well, they should be. They were not the Mustangs that we're used to seeing. The energy level was low, lackluster, as he said. And I found it interesting. He said that there were players hiding behind defenders, not making themselves available. And I said that Munjoma needs to be found a little bit more readily on the right side, but perhaps from Coach Hudson's standpoint, when Jomar wasn't being found because he was hiding behind defenders. Who knows? Let's see what adjustments are made in the second half. Certainly, there wasn't a lot of balance in the attack for the Mustangs. They didn't really get down the left wing at all. Let's see what happens in the second half. Haley is on the field with the coach for the Memphis Tigers up, Coach Mulrooney.
Coach, your team was able to capitalize first, but unfortunate to give up that goal before halftime. What was your message to the team in the locker room?
We still have 45 minutes. We were down in the first game 1-0, tied it back. SMU's a good team. We didn't expect the score to stay 1-0. It would have been nice to stay at 1-0, maybe make it 2-0, but they got one. They've been dangerous as well, and, you know, if anything, it's a wake-up call for us that this is a tough 45 coming up, but keep your heads up. And you know what? We're playing a good brand out there. We'll reward ourselves, but they were able to poke one against us. You know, credit to them, but at the same time, we have another 45, and I think if we play the same way, maybe with a little 3 to 5% smarter ability, we should be okay.
You told me that tired legs would not be an excuse today here in the semifinals. How would you evaluate your team's energy in that first half?
As high as it can be. You know, that was our game plan. We've stuck to it. And obviously, second half, still have 45 minutes to go, but the guys don't seem knackered whatsoever. They're excited to still be here, and we absolutely believe we can win this game.
Thanks, Coach.
Anytime.
He's making us believe too, Matt, isn't he? Such a positive outlook. He's confident.
And well, he should be. The team's on a good run of form. They're playing well, playing for each other.
That's the man that tied it, Shackelford, with his 6th goal of the season. Fierce competitor. Well, SMU, we talked about their corner kick prowess. They had 0 in the first half. Memphis had a couple. Memphis also outshot SMU, which is one of the strengths of the Mustangs team. They outshot them 7-5. 1 save for SMU. And Makala. And no saves credited for Lackland. Fouls, SMU at 7, Memphis with 4 in the first half.
So it says that Memphis had 9 set-piece opportunities in the first 45 minutes. And nothing to speak of as far as opportunities are concerned on frame from those chances. And of course, some of those fouls would have been in the defensive half for the Tigers, and it would have been a big ask to get that ball pumped into the box for a meaningful goal-scoring opportunity. But some of those were in the attacking half, and you have to deliver a good ball. And certainly from the corner kicks, the delivery was not of the standard that's needed to beat a strong defensive presence such as Haney and the like.
Oh, let's see if we see a different SMU team immediately here, because you know they heard it from Coach Hudson and his staff. His staff was the conference staff of the year last season and in 2015. Here come the Mustangs. Mujoma, his blast is blocked. And almost earned the Mustangs their first corner. Well, that was kept out nicely by Roberts. Shackelford. There's Coach Hudson.
Well, there's a definite change in the energy level for the Mustangs.
Yeah, right off the kickoff. A little more urgency, a little more hop in their step. Getting to the turf, 2 players already for SMU. Let's see if Memphis can absorb this energy here at the start of the second.
It's also important to have an understanding as a player. If SMU start to press further out the pitch and charge into some tackles, if you can just beat that first defender, there'll be a player open for you to utilize. And if Memphis can find that opening and be smart with the pass, it could start a dangerous counterattack opportunity for the Tigers.
And you heard Coach Mulrooney say we just need to maybe be a little same type of play, maybe a little smarter here in the second. And his team could be on their way to the tournament championship. They picked up their first tournament victory in American Athletic Tournament play on Tuesday, upsetting USF. Now going for even a larger upset, they take down SMU. Lights are on. Be better conditions with the sun setting for this one in the late afternoon.
It's going to be a beautiful night.
Yeah,
to play the beautiful game.
There should be a big crowd coming in shortly. But the post-school, the UCF Knights, ranked 7th in the nation against UConn, who is ranked 20th. What a showdown that will be. Munjoma puts it up, headed by Quayshow.
Huerta had come a long way tracking the run of Quayshow. I'd like to have seen Huerta just pass the player on. Wasn't any other threat there. Shackelford would have been taken care of by Robertson Thomas. Just pass the player on to DeLuca, and then Huerta would have been available in the middle of the pitch to switch the point of attack should Memphis win the ball.
Deflected up, Memphis throw it. There's Quayshow, has been a little bit frustrated here. Not many opportunities. He did have that one shot just off target. It was a pretty good look.
He's playing in the middle of the pitch. He's not getting a lot of service. And Memphis are doing a really good job of bypassing that area of the field by going down their flanks as much as possible.
Plenty of space there for Hollander. Oh, pretty spin move by Hernandez. There's Quayshow.
Look at the recovery run from Arides. It tells you how important it is for Memphis to make sure they track the runs of those wingbacks for SMU, but particularly on this right side, Munjoma. So he was getting ahead of steam going into the attacking third.
Haney was pushing forward, thought that Munjoma might cut into the corner. He did not. Now Coach Reed just walked in the stadium. Munjoma, little give and go. Hernandez gets it back. Munjoma's cross deflected and then flattened out, but off the side of the foot. As Quayshow couldn't get a hold of that one.
Surprising how poor a shot that was from Quayshow. I think he's suitably embarrassed. That was a great opportunity to put that one on frame and ends up going for the throw-in.
A late whistle comes in on the foul on the far side. Now, two talented number 10s, Zalzman for the Tigers, and of course Quayshow of SMU. Oh, what a week on campus here at UCF. The soccer tournament championship. We got a big football game on Saturday against Navy. Basketball on Sunday. Homecoming this week. Should be a lot of excitement here in the stadium this evening. And then Saturday night for the championship game. Far side, Munjoma. Not going to beat him to the ball. He's got the angle and the speed. Broken up. Arides on the trail. Heady play.
There's the attention. The Munjoma warrants great work coming back defensively there. It's lovely form from Munjoma. Great speed. Getting into the attacking third. Facing up. Trying to serve the ball in. Wins the corner.
Their first of the night, believe it or not. They average 6 a match. In swinger near post, headed and hit the side of the net. Well executed by the Mustangs there.
Love the ball delivered into that near post area. If you can get the service right, it's almost impossible to defend. Quayshow with the service. Great ball in. Header looks like it actually deflected off of the back of Arides. And the goalkeeper Lackland does well to keep it in and not concede yet another corner.
Quayshow Second in the conference in assists with 6. He also has 5 goals. Good play in the air there for SMU. And Munjoma. Throwing for the Tigers and Justin Thomas. 6-footer out of Ontario. Tied at 1. First half saw the Tigers in command and a late goal by Shackelford tying it. Much better front foot playing for SMU here in the second.
Tigers going to have to clean up the possession in the defensive half. They're just inviting SMU forwards for the press.
Well, the pattern in the quarterfinal games, which were tied at 1, was it took about 20 minutes of second half play before one of the teams would strike and take the lead. Let's see if that follows that pattern here tonight.
Gonna be another long throw in. The tall guys from the back trotting forwards. Haney with that distinctive cap on his head will likely be a target.
And what a weapon this is, Warrington. A powerful throw in. Haney trying to get up there. Somebody sent to the turf, gets the SMU bench in an uproar, but there was no whistle. Roberts way downfield. Yeah, the flag went up.
Shackelford needs to play the whistle, not the shouts of the defenders. In the end, it was a pass that was wayward anyway, but with his speed, it's something that he could get on the end of.
A little more concern on the face of Coach Mulrooney.
Been some missed passes from the Tigers that have allowed SMU to get further up the pitch, and it's certainly been the Mustangs that have been in the ascendancy in the first 10 minutes of the second half.
Oh, Reedy took a shot in the back while heading that to the side. Counterattack. SMU. There's a blast from distance right into the lap of Lackland. Shackelford looking for number 2 of the night.
Looked like he might have deflected on the way to the goalkeeper. Certainly as it flew towards Lackland, it didn't seem to have any of the pace on it that you would expect from a Shackelford shot.
There's some heavy air here, very humid conditions.
I like the work of Arlander in that build up to that Shackelford shot. He looked to his right, saw that Munjama was in a better position on the outside of the play. And just curtailed his run and drew back towards the halfway line to create the space if it was going to be utilized by SMU. It wasn't, but good movement by the central midfielder.
Quayshow, beautiful spin service, Shackelford. Shackelford 1v1, his cross to the trailer disrupted just enough. Memphis plays it long the other way. SMU applauding the team's effort.
There was miscommunication between the central defenders and the outside back there. That allowed Shackelford the angle for the run. But Morse trailing the play did a really good job defensively.
Lackland off his line and just got there in the nick of time. Shackelford looming again as SMU continues to threaten. Quayshow. Haney able to keep it in. Emil. Shackelford tried to punch it to the right. Good handling by McLaughlin. Joma. Lackland punches it away near side.
Clever punch from the goalkeeper, ends up being a pass. Allows Arides to get on the ball. Can the Tigers connect some passes and get into their attacking half?
Tigers attacking. Cross on its way, but no white shirts. And had it up. So Makala can handle it. A 6'4" junior. Fort Walton Beach High School. Second team all-conference.
Yazzie there with the cross. Has to look up, take a little peek. Mikas had checked back to the top of the penalty area. Wasn't there for the long ball into the box.
Beautiful passing. Unable to connect on that final one to Shackelford. Terrific execution. Quayshow, look at that gorgeous pass back to Hernandez.
Good ball movement there. Imagination in the midfield. Has the ability to unlock a defense.
DeLuca on the pitch. Arides followed by Munjoma. Tigers have not had many possessions here in the second half. Collision on the far side. Played on, and another one. This time it draws the whistle. Let's go to Haley on the sidelines. Haley.
It's been a long week and a half for this Memphis team on the road. First at USF to close the regular season and then back down to Orlando for the conference tournament. So I asked Coach what the team did yesterday. He said they had a late breakfast. They did a couple hours of study hall to get caught up in the classroom, but then they had some fun. They went out to dinner for some Italian, and then they drove to the Icon in Orlando. Big Ferris wheel, but right here you see the Star Flyer, which is the world's tallest swing ride. The swing set goes up to the top, spins around, gives you some great views of Orlando. So Coach told me that while they're here for business, he wants his players to get the full experience and have some fun in the process too. But we want to put this on record. Mulrooney said if his team wins this conference tournament, he'll go on that Star Flyer. And you guys, I saw it myself. It's very high.
That's a challenge. Would you go on that thing, Stoppington?
Maybe if my team won a tournament,
yeah,
I would do it, but
that's what it'll take to get Coach Mulrooney on there.
I get nervous going upstairs, so.
We helped you up the bleachers tonight, I know. Hopefully this Tiger player's okay.
This is a good moment, though, for Coach Mulrooney, because he can do some coaching of his team. They've been on their heels for the majority of this second half. Just needs to get a little organized defensively and then connect those passes going forwards. It's Huerta that is getting attention. Alanis does a good job there. Tries to go in for the slide tackle, pulls out of it at the last moment, and then Huerta takes his moment to make the challenge against Warrington. And then
Huerta got to his feet to push Warrington, said thank you very much, and then he felt the pain after that.
He's putting no weight on that left foot.
And not a good sign.
To me, looks like when I've hopped like that, it's generally when I've hurt my left ankle. So hopefully that's not the case for him. Hopefully it's nothing serious, and we'll see him back in action tonight. You never want to see any player being helped off the pitch like that.
DeLuca and Arides. Mikas lending a shoulder here for his teammate Bryant Huerta.
Let's see what adjustments are made, though, by Memphis going forwards, because with Munjoma and Warrington getting further up the pitch, it's been a challenge for DeLuca and for Biazzi, the outside defenders for Memphis. They haven't been able to go forwards as much. Essentially, you need to gamble a little bit as a team.
Off the free kick, Haney able to head it away.
You're trying to gamble, get your outside backs forwards and occupy the outside players of your opposition.
The ball blooped up and coming off. Makala. Ujoma and Shackelford. Quayshow. Will he get the blast off? Sliding tackle. And another one. Terrific effort by the back line of Memphis. That Roberts back there, Matt.
Oh, that was a wonderful tackle.
I believe it was.
That build-up play was tremendous. Lovely rhythm to the passes. Crispness. Firm passing. That's when soccer sounds good and looks good. The Quayshow just took too many touches, got a little greedy, thought he was going to have the angle for the shot, allowed the defender to close him down. Ball should have been played out to the left flank and crossed in. That would have been the better option.
Haney calling for it, gets it. Mustangs holding on to possession. They've had a large advantage in that area here in the second half after Memphis outplayed him in the first. The Tigers. Iridi's trying to run this down into the corner. Able to keep it in. Haney guides him off the ball. Iridi's hoping for a whistle. Watch out. There's the flag coming up. Very close, Matt.
I have a theory that the player standing with his arm up in the air is the player that keeps the attacker onside. On that occasion, it was Morse. From our angle, I thought Shackelford was onside, kept onside by Morse. Yeah, if I'm right, I think the Tigers just dodged one right there.
Jackson Morse. Now this match following the same pattern as our two quarterfinal matches.
That's a great angle there. May have been a little closer than I first thought, but I still think Morse kept Shackelford onside.
Joma brought down from behind, and there's the foul. Nearly 20 minutes into the second half. Certainly nothing decided here as we stay even at one. Tuesday night, it was Memphis scoring 2 late to win it 3-1 over USF. And then it was UConn in the second game scoring 2 goals. Started right around this juncture of the second half, defeating Temple 3-1.
Tough ball there for McNatt. I think the pass was actually intended to come out to DeLuca. It was aimed right at McNatt. He couldn't do anything with it. Ends up volleying it onto his own arm and gets called for the handball. Again, it illustrates the problems that Memphis have had in this second half with completing passes.
We have an injury update with Haley.
We saw Memphis midfielder Bryant Huerta leave the game He was helped off the field, but now actually walking around on his own weight. Left cleat still off, trainer working on him, but good sign that he's walking around.
Well, good to hear that for Huerta. Thanks, Haley.
Really good that he is okay.
Yeah, that's when he went down.
He just rolled that ankle a little bit when he went into the challenge.
McLaughlin returns to the pitch for Coach Hudson. Garrett. There he is, second team all-conference. He was on the preseason Mac Herman Trophy watch list after a sensational rookie season where he was first team all-conference. And his sophomore year, he was the rookie of the year his freshman year. A turn shot, headed, and blocked again, but flag is up. Putting a stoppage to this one.
Scrum of players as the header goes goalward, indicating the play was offsides. That long throw in this time to the near post. Haney is the target. And there were 3 black shirts there for SMU. Any one of them could have been offside, but
Parker Lackland, a hot keeper. He had a career high Tuesday night with 7 saves against USF. Good to see Bryant Huerta, as Haley reported, loosening it up on the sidelines. Looks like he could be back.
I was happy to see him putting weight on his left foot, being carried off like that. Anytime you tweak your ankle, there's a lot of pain in the initial injury. Looks like he'll be okay, which is great news for him and his team.
Both teams campaigning for that possession. SMU and UCF sharing the regular season crown. For SMU is the 3rd title in the last 4 seasons. Regular season title, that is. McNatt getting up. Irides scored the first goal of this match. Zalzman, his beautiful cross, headed, save one, and then kicked away right in front of the goal face. A big save by Makela.
Well, the goalkeeper didn't know a whole lot about this one. Has to get across his goal. Zalzman with the cross. Not sure whether it was Micus Alanese or one of the defenders that played it towards the goalkeeper. But tall and strong was Makela. And now he's taking a goal kick and breathing a big sigh of relief.
And so are the SMU fans, because Alanese was about ready to kick at him with the left foot. He was falling, and he was claiming that Warrington got a piece of him. Here they come again. Irides into the 18. His shot blocked. And corner kick upcoming for the Tigers. Haney able to block that one away.
Sanger coming back in.
He was our player of the game Tuesday night. A goal and an assist. He has an assist here again tonight.
I'm not sure who's coming out over the byline already. Irides with a good attack, but even better defending there from Haney.
At this corner
Scrum of players at the top of the box. Mr. Allerton says, hey, calm it down, fellas.
There it is. Well placed. All booted down and deflected out.
Well, we saw a good service earlier in this half from SMU to the near post. This one was equally as good, but a little deeper this time from the Tigers. The cross from the corner had everything that was needed except the connection on the run. That was a wonderful set piece.
Micah's back on the pitch for the Tigers. He was able to find what would be the game winner on Tuesday. He has 3 of those this season. Haney between 2 white shirts and a third. His shot, and he gets under it. What an attack by Haney as he penetrated through 3 defenders and nearly put it in the back of the net. He has 1 goal on the season.
Coach Mulrooney is not happy. Maybe he thinks that ball went out, but this was tiptoeing through the daisies from the defender. And then the heady heights of the attacking third got too much for him. Maybe that ball went out. I'm not sure. I think he kept it in. Either way, he just accelerates into the attacking third. Very poor attempt at a tackle there from Thomas. And you can just see by the reaction of Haney, he knows he should have done better with the shot.
Yeah, everything but the shot there. Now, that play was right in front of the Memphis bench. Coach Mulrooney and his team probably had a pretty good look at it. Whether that was out of bounds, so getting up slowly is Senga.
Well, it's the whole ball that has to go over that white line. And the linesman on this side will argue that it didn't quite all go over the white line. Yeah, sometimes the calls go for you, sometimes they go against you. Either way, the last kick of that whole movement went high and wide of the net, so no harm done.
Free kick here, Senga. Zolzman also alongside the ball. Irides, far post.
Not sure where the contact was, but it was a Memphis Tiger that actually went to ground. Mr. Allerton saw some infringement, but that was another good set piece service from Zolzman. Exactly where you need it. Start it at the corner of the 6 and bend it into the far post.
Nobody's going to catch up to that one. McLaughlin was giving chase. Under 18 minutes left. Who's going to break free here? There's a shot and just wide left. Good strike. Or the Mustangs.
Again, a poor choice on the passing for the Tigers. Off of the throw-in, turn the ball over. Saltzman not able to connect on it. And that ball drifting wide of the upright. SMU holding the heads in anguish.
Quayshaw just a little bit off target. McLaughlin.
It was a better left-footed effort than his last one that went out for a throw-in.
Yeah, jersey being pulled, and there is the whistle. Hollander trying to free himself.
Yellow card coming.
A good set piece opportunity here for SMU. Quayshaw. And he's set to tee it up.
Maybe a little far out for an effort on frame. But it's a great angle for both the shot and the service.
Lackland shouting instructions to his teammates.
Thomas with a tug of the jersey.
Quayshaw serves it up, headed towards the middle and cleared up high in the night sky.
Soon as the hand dropped, Maples took off running to the back post. The delivery on the service was where it needed to be. The header was where it needed to be, but the urgency of the other runs were just a little bit too quick, and it got into the 6-yard box ahead of the ball. That was a well-worked set piece right off the training ground. Almost came off for the Mustangs.
For the Tigers, Micus ready to enter now. Zalzman coming to the sideline. SMU able to keep the talented Venezuelan in check. A little too far for Irides.
So put a little bit of backspin on it. Check that ball up.
Approaching that 15-minute mark remaining. DeLuca with his head up and space in front of him. Memphis sideline applaud the effort of the Tigers, and they look to move forward. Here's an opportunity. The cross. Oh, that cross, the goal face there, Matt. Nobody there, far post. Kept in to the 18. Whistle goes against Memphis.
Alanese ends up with the ball on that far sideline. So businesslike, a little fortuitous. As the ball ends up on his feet, Maples going to ground, just slides it onto the foot of Alanese in the end. The ball was exactly where it needed to be. As I said, there was nobody at the back post. It developed quickly, but Memphis have got to get people in the box.
Nice run here by Ponder. McLaughlin into the corner. Throw in for SMU and an injured Memphis player after that sliding tackle.
Yes, Thomas is on the deck.
A sophomore.
Long stretch.
Yeah.
And then it looked like McLaughlin came down on the outside of the leg, the right leg of Thomas. I think central defender won't want to come out.
Tough competitor Thomas is. Lays it all out there.
Gates a little antalgic, but he'll be all right.
Hobbling a bit. And here's the dangerous Warrington. Still in the air. That blocked. Lackland says, I got it.
Nice clear communication. The goalkeeper's making his presence known as far as the communication is concerned when we can hear him up here.
Yeah, through the glass.
Nice crossfield pass to Bialzi.
On the attack. Haney is there. Substitutes for both teams as Well, teams, that fatigue starting to be a factor for Memphis. Mason Maurice, Shackelford comes back along with Hernandez. Garrett McLaughlin departs.
Alanese going to the bench for the Tigers. He's put in a really good shift. Another player on the deck on the far sideline. Is that Biazzi?
Now Memphis, just a day off to recover from the battle Tuesday afternoon here. You figured the longer this goes, the more advantageous it is for SMU. They're the better rested team, Matt. We stayed tied at 1.
The advantage would be with the Mustangs at that point. Good news for Memphis Tiger fans is that Huerta is back in the game, looking none the worse for wear. Considering he was carried from the field, not putting any weight on that left foot at all.
Houston product. Good to see him back and playing for the Tigers. Morse. Sent into the 18, headed, and a nice execution. Just off frame. Wide to the left.
Well, that was almost the perfect welcome to the game from Maurice. Glancing blow with the header just wide of the post. You like that as a coach. It makes you look like a genius. Coach Mulrooney almost making the perfect substitution right there.
Irides launches far post and seized in the air by Makala.
Balls into the box are getting better from Memphis. Good to see. Just going to organize the runs now, make the connection where it matters.
That's been Memphis on the attack over the past 5 minutes or so. SMU on their heels a bit. Ten and a half minutes remain in regulation. Maples. Hernandez in the center of the field. Oh, was hoping to get Munjoma on his run. Offsides is whistled. Memphis not showing signs of fatigue, Matt. They're late in this one.
Physically, they'll be fit enough to continue this game and play any overtime that may be on the cards with just 9 minutes left in regulation. But it's where the fatigue creeps in, is that mental fatigue and trying to connect your brain to your feet. You know where you're supposed to be mentally, but sometimes it doesn't connect quickly enough.
Munjoma and Shackelford almost had an opportunity there. Oh, 8.5 minutes now. Sanga. And DeLuca with space ahead of him. Beautiful pass into the 18. Sending it back out. There's Maurice.
Maurice there, just his instincts let him down a little bit. Came back inside. The pass, the run was perfect. The touch took him away from goal.
Good angle by Irides, excuse me. David Zalzman back on the pitch here in crunch time for Coach Mulrooney. He comes in for Maurice. Haney calling for it and receives it. Great play by Irides. Clean steal. Zalzman, DeLuca. DeLuca. Top of the box. Great hustle there by Nicky Hernandez. Stays on Memphis's end.
Let's see what Coach Mulrooney does right now. Alaniz is getting ready to come on. He's an attacking player. You bring a defender off and gamble in the last few moments of regulation.
Yeah, he's certainly a playmaker, Alaniz is. Unjoma. Looking for Shackelford. There's a shot blocked. And that into the bleachers behind the goal.
Talk about it so often, how important it is for players to move off of the ball. Shackelford came towards Munjoma and then goes away. That opens up the space for number 12 to cross the ball. Ball's then deflected onto the foot of Quayshaw, and he's not having any luck with his right foot or his left foot tonight. That was a great blocking effort from the defenders.
Yeah, Emil has been frustrated. Pressing a bit, Matt, I think.
You're the main man on the team. Everybody's looking for you to have a big night, and so there is a lot riding on his shoulders, but he's more than capable of dealing with that. He's been dealing with it all season long. Sometimes, though, you just need to relax. But you got to give credit on that occasion to the defenders. They made the block. The shot was going goalward. The previous two attempts with the left peg both went wide.
We'll go SMU's way. That clock continues to tick. 4.5 minutes left in regulation. Will we have our first overtime match of the tournament?
Salzman was called for a little ticky-tack foul, and see why the foul was given. Good player management from the ref, talking to Salzman, saying calm it down a little bit.
Alaniz. Ooh, collision there. Heard the hit all the way up here. DeLuca gets up slowly, favoring the right leg.
Haney also. That was a big, big crash of bodies there.
There's Zalzman. Noah Hilt, who assisted on the SMU goal.
See Haney there, hands on knees again, trying to recover from that one. I really like the way that Parker Lackland plays the position.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of confidence for the young man, coming out a long way, claiming that free kick. Has a lot of confidence in his ability. And why not some of the saves we've seen him make this week?
Ujoma gets it back in his run. Shackelford looks for help. Hernandez. Can he release the cross? And the throw in. They'll wait for Warrington. With the clock winding down, nearing 2 minutes. And look who's there above everybody. Parker Lackland, the 6-footer out of Richardson, Texas. And just so composed and confident, like you said, Matt.
Well, as a player on the pitch, you want that behind you from the goalkeeper. Good communication, good confidence. Allows you to play more freely when you trust the man behind you.
Haney took it all the way into the box on an earlier run. One of the best chances that SMU has had. Tigers, they play on. Physical play, both players go down. And no whistle. Noah Hilt along with Alanese. Under a minute. Late second heroics for the Tigers. And cleared out to the relief of the SMU fans in front of us.
That was a big moment. Mustangs hitting the deck, making sure that the ball doesn't challenge the goalkeeper. Looking across the field, it's the hands of the Mustangs that are on the knees, not of the Tigers.
Yeah, Memphis has been definitely more energetic team here in the final 15 minutes or so. They don't look like the team that played Tuesday night. 7-6. That shot blocked. And that will put an end to regulation as we are tied at 1. We will go to overtime. Number 1 coming up here on the American Digital Network. We're locked up at 1 in the first of 2 semifinal matches.
Strong in mind, strong in body, strong in school, sport, life.
The grind is 10% physical and 90% mental.
The mind is the power.
The body is a means to jump higher, run faster,
be smarter, and live longer.
There is no weakness when it comes to seeking help. We are stronger together.
So let's talk about it.
A waterfall starts with 1 drop.
Change starts with one person.
The American is dedicated to ending the stigma related to mental health
and promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Promoting success through a healthy, powerful mind.
Bernie scores!
3 strikeouts in a row.
Dominance for a 4th straight year. Cueto from 30! Unbelievable!
And be able to celebrate this type of championship.
There's the record breaker. They are the champions of the American.
More than 7,000 student athletes rising to become champions in 22 different sports at 13 esteemed institutions across 11 states. 360,000 students and 2.6 million alumni rise up in celebration of a Power Six conference known as the American, powered by determination. In just 5 seasons, storied programs have united as a Power Six conference. We've watched record breakers, All-Americans, and victories that proved we are not only equal to the best, but often better. Can you imagine what's ahead for this Power Six conference? We can, because the best way to predict the future is to create the future. The American, powered by determination.
In a city known for doing things our way, there's a university that's driven to do the same, to blur the outdated line between academic pursuits and active ones, not just to learn, but to experience, to create, solve, build, to explore and express, to lead. Because an education isn't something you get, it's something you do.
I was the last person anybody's thinking is going to be in college athletics. One thing I really valued about my SMU experience was being in engineering school. I was taught how to think. In 2012, my wife and I decided to start our foundation. Basically, the goal is to let kids be kids while they're in the hospital, but also be able to return to being a kid when they're done. A huge part of my quality of life is the experiences that I've had, and that was all provided by SMU. I'm Thomas Morstead. Game changers are shaped here.
Well, there's the Memphis Tiger huddle. Locked up at 1 here, heading to overtime. Coach Mulrooney has to be pleased with his team's performance, Matt. Pushing the 2nd seed and last season's tournament champion SMU to overtime. But not only that, this team played on Tuesday and they showed no signs of being tired. Let's take a look at the women's championship for the Memphis Tigers.
That was a wonderful tournament from the women from Memphis. They play with a lot of emotion, a lot of commitment, and deserving winners. They did a fantastic job in Tampa last week. A difficult team to play against, and anybody who faces them in the NCAA is going to have their hands full. It'll be Wisconsin in the first round, being hosted by the Tigers.
Well, some of that magic from the women's team rubbing off on the men's team, the 6th seed here at this tournament. They've already eliminated the 3 seed USF Bulls, picking up their first American Athletic Tournament victory, and now pushing the 2 seed SMU to OT. Now, we thought that they would be the tired team down the stretch, Matt, and it didn't appear that way at all. Let's send it down to Haley.
You mentioned the women's soccer championship, and we've talked about how the Memphis men's team was actually in Tampa that week playing their final regular season game. So in the semifinals, the men's team actually came out to the women's semifinal, cheered on the Tigers, and Coach Mulrooney said, you know, the men's team has actually learned a lot from the women's team this year, just that relentless spirit. And Memphis will be at home this weekend hosting first round action against Wisconsin.
Now, certainly, it does appear that Coach Mulrooney has been sparked, got some incentive, and learning watching that talented women's side. We head into overtime. We've had 6 conference tournament matches since 2013 that have reached PKs. 4 of those 6 were in the title game. We'll see if this one's decided in overtime. There'll be 2 sessions, 2 10-minute sessions if needed. A golden goal here, so if anybody puts one in, we'll have a winner. Who would you say has the advantage at this point, Matt?
I think it's the Tigers as the lower seed, and they certainly finished the first or the second half a lot more strongly.
The cross headed up, but not out. It's the deck. Oh, brilliant play by Quayshow. His strike is wide right. Emil, terrific takeaway, and then was going for the game winner.
Well, we saw it from Sanger on Tuesday. Goals can be scored from want to. And this was from want to from Quayshow. And he just gets the ball onto his left, cuts across the field, and then just drags the shot just wide. But that was by far his best effort tonight with either leg. And the frustration from the number 10 was there to see as he punches the turf in frustration.
McLaughlin ceiling. Goes back to Munchoma. Not much spacing there for SMU. It's will be an SMU throw-in, which is definitely an offensive weapon, particularly for this side. Can Warrington set his team up here?
Again, the big men trot forward. Again, Warrington trots to the sideline.
Headed far post, but captured by Lackland. Going to be tough to beat that freshman, Parker Lackland. Irides tripped up, and foul goes on Hollander.
Going to get a yellow card for his trouble as well.
Canute picks up the yellow. Irides is helped to his feet.
Irides just changing the direction, forcing the play inside, runs across the retreating Hollander. Probably just as well he did foul, because I think Irides had the measure of Haney.
First yellow card of the match. Tigers in the short corner. Stating his case is Baroom. Christian, senior from South Florida, Fort Lauderdale.
I thought the original set piece was a wasted opportunity as the ball got played over to that far sideline, but because of the infraction, it creates a better opportunity. And Saltzman's been serving these balls in so well in the second half.
There it is, straight on. Irides, his blast and save. McCullough was there as Irides was going for that far post. A nice strike from Alexandros. Ooh, blocked away.
Feels like the game's opened up a little bit as we start the first period of overtime. The previous free kick, the service was again good from Saltzman. Irides with the shot, the goalkeeper with nice footwork makes the save look easy. And Borum, after his poor play at the other end, almost made up with it with some really good play at this end.
Warrington sails it in. Off of a SMU player. Parker Lackland has only allowed a goal from this man right here, re-entering. Kean Shackelford scoring his 6th of the season.
Didn't think it would be long before we saw him with his pace up top. The game's starting to open up a little bit.
He comes in for McLaughlin. Nearing the 4-minute mark of the overtime session, number 1. They'll play 2 before going to PKs.
The foot was high from Sanger. So indicates the referee with the arm up. Dangerous play, indirect free kick awarded.
Ooh, Lackland coming out just in time, disrupting that play. See if we can get another look at that one.
That was a lovely touch from Quasar. Off of this ball played forwards. Heads it in. And Borum just runs across the face of number 10. Should have just let the ball bleed, perhaps. That was a good goal-scoring opportunity.
Now Borum sent it wide. He had pretty much an open net. Lackland charging at him. I think you're right, Matt. I think Quasho won an opportunity at that ball.
Especially as he led himself into the box so well with the chested pass.
A great scoring opportunity for SMU. Unable to end it. Hollander. Lackland punches it out.
He's not the tallest of goalkeepers, so catching the ball in the air through traffic is a challenge. When he decides to punch, he's decisive. I haven't seen him have one of those missed clearances sometimes you'll see from a goalkeeper when they elect to punch. Lackland's been very Johnny on the spot as far as that's concerned.
Unjama able terrific fast-paced action here in the overtime period. That ball booted over everybody.
On the bench for SMU wanted an offside call against Sanger. It didn't come. All played over the top from Zaltzman. He goes to ground as his footing lets him down. And then the initial touch from Zaltzman takes him away from goal. And hence, the effort was high and wide of the net. Moon Jomar pushes forwards. It opens up the space for Haney in the right back position for SMU to exploit. Radies has to come back defensively and make sure he trails the outside midfielder for SMU.
Under a minute now remaining in the first overtime period. Zaltzman into the corner. Alani's sliding to try to keep that in play. To no avail. Munjama, one last run left possibly here in overtime. Munjoma directs it in and then cleared away by the Tigers. In the air, Lackland hits the deck and then it's cleared out to end overtime number 1.
Excitement at the end of the first overtime period.
Sure was. We were heading to overtime number 2 as the first period ends with that play.
Power comes in all forms.
Power is a big tackle, a big save, a clutch hit,
or a game-winning shot.
Power is also standing up for what is right.
There is power in the sportsmanship that is displayed across the American.
Power is respecting opponents,
Officials,
student athletes,
coaches, and team representatives. Power is not tolerating racial or ethnic comments,
Profanities or other improper actions while at the game.
The American.
Power for life.
The American, power for life.
The American, power for life.
Well, thanks for joining us here in the American Digital Network. Treated to this one, second overtime coming up. The Mustangs attempt to stay hydrated in this very humid November evening. But you figure they would have the advantage with Memphis playing a tough match Tuesday night, only one day to recover in between. Memphis ended regulation very strong, Matt. You'd have to say in the first overtime it looked like the Mustangs with advantage.
I think so. I think that Memphis looked a little tired mentally in that first overtime period. Mustangs with a head of steam, wanting to get this one done. They do not want to go to penalty kicks, as at that point it's anybody's game. But right now, Memphis Tigers just have to make sure that they keep playing with the same resiliency that they have throughout this tournament and keep the chins up, make sure that they make smart decisions, possess the ball going forwards, and make sure that they do not allow Manjuma any space on the right-hand side. So Aridi's getting stretched there by the athletic training staff.
Well, shots are even at 15. Corner kicks, that's a big storyline because Memphis has 3, SMU only 1. And the Mustangs average 6 per game, which is 20th in the nation. Three saves apiece by both keepers. So very even match, as the score tells you. And will it be decided here in the second OT?
Very pensive. Kevin Hudson, the head coach for SMU, on the sideline.
Well, postseason bids also on the line here. Conference, you would expect, Matt, that probably 3 teams. You got SMU, UCF, and UConn. Probably all will get bids. Memphis would have to win this tournament to get the automatic, or to gain an NCAA bid. Right off the kick, Benga attacking. Scooped up by Makala.
Good to see the Tigers on the front foot, trying to get forwards right from the opening kickoff of the second period. It's so easy for the Tigers just to try and see this one out and take it to the penalty spot.
Ujama turns on the Jets. Tried to put it across and earns just the second corner kick of the match for SMU.
Well, Ujama just went past DeLuca like he was a cone.
Emil teeing it up. He's got 2 game-winning goals and hoping for a game-winning assist right here. Chip back in front. That was Hollander. Sang it.
Well, that one was signaled in from the bench. So the assistant coach for Kevin Hudson put both arms up. Quay looked over, he put both arms up, and as that signal was received and understood, Along came Allender with a late run to the back post. It almost came off for SMU.
Warrington. Watch this throw in. With spin. Down and up and a goal! Mustangs win it in double overtime. Warrington starts it with a throw in.
It's been a weapon all game long for the Mustangs, the long throw in from Warrington. Ball bounced around, a looping header. Beats the goalkeeper, Parker Lackland. And looping headers, goalkeepers hate because they're so difficult to make a play on.
Let's get another look.
What a finish.
What a play by Ponder.
No wonder the shirt came off. Celebrate that one, young man.
Philip Ponder, his second goal of the season and a game winner for the junior from Denton, Texas. Spectacular play with a foot, lifted it over the outstretched arms of Parker Lackland.
It wasn't a looping header, but it was a looping volley. I still don't know how he's put that one in, and I've seen the replay. What a fantastic finish. Disappointment for Memphis. They played a great game.
Munjoma, that was Munjoma hugging. He still has Ponder. And overwhelmed by emotion. Tremendous play. And like you said, Matt, what an effort from this Memphis Tiger team. Pushing it to double OT. And terrific sportsmanship. High fives and hugs from both teams. Great respect between these two programs.
Well, you got to take your hats off, though. I mean, as far as Memphis Tigers are concerned, it took something really special to beat them. At that point, as a player, as a coach, you just say, wow, that was extraordinary.
Parker Lackland looking at that right hand. That ball just floated over somehow by Ponder. Had the right trajectory. Haley's with Coach.
Coach, Philip Ponder able to finish this one off in double overtime. How would you evaluate your team's second half and overtime performance after you had a chance to talk to them in the locker room?
Average. We were not good tonight. That was probably one of the worst games we've played this year. But I'm proud of, they fight. They believe and they fight, and they found a way to do it. So I'm proud of them for the internal fortitude to go get it. But we have to play better if we want this season to continue beyond, beyond tonight, but even beyond Saturday. We have to be better than that.
What can your team learn from today's game?
Oh, we were flat. We were slow. We were flat. We got outworked in the first half, and for much of the second half as well. So, we'll look at the tape and we'll reevaluate. But I think we'll see a different SMU on Saturday.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Haley. There is the man of the night, Philip Ponder. He trains for FC Dallas, and he wins it. And we're going to close it out because we got a big one coming up next. The fans starting to pour in here as the host school UCF will take on UConn. But what a match this was. Goes to SMU in double overtime, 2-1 over the upstart Memphis Tigers. And the fans here were treated to a spectacular semifinal match. SMU advancing to the finals on Saturday night. Shackelford and company take this victory. They win it. So for my partner Matt Stubbington, Haley Outen down in the field, I'm Ari Shannock saying thanks for watching this one on the American Digital Network.